the World of Hyatt Business credit card. Let's get into the details.
All right, so this is a card that has a $199 annual fee, making it a little pricier for a hotel business card, although I guess we've seen fee creep on other cards recently too. Earning rate, you're going to earn 4 points per dollar at Hyatt hotels, 2x on fitness clubs and gyms, and then 2x also in your top three categories per quarter out of a number of different categories: dining, gas, and a bunch of various travel and business related categories. So, whichever your top three categories each quarter, you'll earn 2x on those, and then, of course, 1x everywhere else.
All right. So, in addition to those pretty uninteresting spend categories, you do have a number of perks that this card offers. After $50,000 spend in a calendar year, you get 10% back on redeem points for the rest of that calendar year, up to a total of 20,000 points back. So if you're going to go for this, make sure you do the 50K spend earlier enough in the calendar year so you could take advantage of the points back. Another perk is up to $100 each card member year in Hyatt statement credits. Spend $50 or more at any Hyatt property and get a $50 statement credit up to 2 times per year. So you're looking at up to $100 back a year. You also get Discoverist Elite status, which not worth a whole lot. I think you get like 2 p.m. late checkout or something like that. So that's much better than nothing. But you also get to give that Discoverist status to up to 5 employees, and those employees don't have to be card members. So that's something. All right, here's where things get a little more interesting. You can earn 5 elite qualifying nights of credit before per $10,000 of spend within a calendar year. So what does that mean? It means instead of having to spend 5 nights at Hyatt hotels in order to get closer to your next milestone or elite status level, you can spend your way to those milestones and elite status levels by spending, again, $10,000 to get each 5 elite qualifying nights. And you can, let's see, the last perk I want to talk about is Hyatt Leverage membership. So Hyatt Leverage is like a business program which anyone can join for free. Anyone with a business can join for free, even without this credit card. But if you don't have this credit card, then you and your employees have to spend 50 nights at Hyatt hotels, booked under your Leverage membership code, in order to keep Hyatt Leverage ongoing. And if you have the card, then that there's no 50-night minimum requirement, so you can get Leverage kind of for free. Again, it's free for everyone, but now it's without a minimum. What does Hyatt Leverage give you? It gives you a discount off of paid stays, up to 15%. And where it gets really interesting is you can earn 2 tier qualifying night credits for every $5,000 in eligible spend, up to a total of 60 per year. So, if you and your employees use your Hyatt Leverage code and book a bunch of Hyatt stays, paid stays, you could easily earn up to top tier Hyatt Elite status. Actually, without staying in a Hyatt hotel at all, if your employees stay enough, you can earn globalist status just by this Leverage membership. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and the leverage discount sometimes is a pretty good deal. I just recently stayed at the Hyatt Centric Murano in Venice using the frequent miler leverage rate because that was the best rate available for the dates that I needed. So I used that rate, and then I applied a suite upgrade actually to the stay to get their duplex suite. So that was pretty nice. I had originally booked a cash and points rate of some sort on the suite, but I realized I could pay even less and not pay the points if I booked the frequent miler leverage rate. So anyway, that's a benefit that is not to be discounted, so to speak, because it can be a decent discount now and then. So there's a few good perks. You alluded to the fact that the bonus categories are a ho hum, which they're not particularly exciting. A lot of the 2x categories are categories where you can already earn 2 or maybe even 3 points per dollar in some cases, even with a card that doesn't have an annual fee. So they're not particularly exciting bonus categories on this card. However, it does have some good perks. So what do you think? Is this card worth it? Who should have it? Who shouldn't have it? What do you think about the card?
Yeah, to me, the sad thing about the card is, paying 199 a year and not getting at least one free night, the way the $95 personal card gives you a free night each year just for having the card. That's kind of surprising and disappointing. On the other hand, if you spend enough on the card and it's pretty easy to get up to 20,000 points back per year if you've spent $50,000 on the card. So you have to be a big spender for it to be worthwhile in that way. And the $100 in Hyatt credits is easy to collect on as well. So those two things, it could easily make up for the 199 annual fee. But really, I think the only reason, like, it sort of makes up for it, but only if you have another reason to get the card, in my opinion. Like I wouldn't say, "Ooh, these perks are so good, I should get the card." It's where the card to me is really interesting is the ability to spend your way to elite status by getting 5 qualifying nights with each $10,000 spend. That's better than the number of nights you'll get with the equivalent amount of spend on the personal card. And so, if you're interested in spending your way to status, it's a really good way to do it. I've written separately about how having both cards is even better because the personal card also gives you 5 nights automatically. But anyway, so that's good. If you do 50,000 of that spend, then you also get that 20% rebate.
10% rebate, yeah, up to
Or
20K
10% rebate, sorry, up to 20,000 points. And then of course Hyatt Leverage, as we talked about, that can be a really valuable benefit under the right circumstances. Do I think this is a no-brainer card? Not even close. But for people who have big spend and who are interested in spending their way to Hyatt Elite status, I like it for that.
Yeah, it can be useful for that. My excitement on that 10% rebate after the 50K spend is very limited, and the reason why is because you're probably sacrificing at least 1 point per dollar spent in order to spend on this card versus something else. So if you're spending in a 1x category, you could be earning 2 transferable points per dollar spent on a different card. And even if you're spending in one of the categories where you're going to earn 2x, there are probably other options on the market where you could be earning 3x in most of those categories, if not even more. So you're looking at an opportunity cost of, I think, at least 1 point per dollar spent. So your opportunity cost to spend 50K on this is 50,000 points. So even if you maximize that 10% back and get the 20K points back, I mean, obviously that's better than not getting that back, but it's not, to me, something that's worth spending $50,000 on the card to get. You really only want to be spending that much on this card if you highly value Hyatt Elite status and you need those elite nights. And keep in mind that you only get the elite nights at every 10K spent. You get the 5 for 10K spent. So if you only need 3 elite nights and you're spending $10,000 on this card, well, you'd probably be better off spending. I didn't actually do the math on that to see if you would be better off on the consumer card, but you might be better off using a consumer card or mattress running rather than spending 50K on or additional 10K anyway on this particular card. So I think you really have to be somebody who runs the numbers carefully. If this card is going to be something you're going to have and hold and keep, you've got to run the numbers carefully to decide, is it worth $199 and the opportunity cost of the spend? I'd have a hard time justifying it personally.
I mean, I totally agree with your analysis. Like, if you look at it first from like the value of these perks, the 10% rebate, the $100 back, then it's not worth it. Like you could sort of talk yourself into it being like sort of even, but as Nick pointed out, the opportunity cost of spending $50,000 is too high. However, if you look at it the other way, if you look at it as like, I've got a lot of big spend, I want to spend my way to Hyatt Elite status, then I see those perks as like making up for the fact a little bit that you are using that you're earning 1x on your way to elite status. And so here's a little bit back to make it less painful that you're only earning 1x along the way.
There you go. There you have it. So if you've got a ton of spend and you want to make it a little less painful to get a poor return on spend, then this might be the way to go. But we both really highly value Hyatt Elite status and the milestone benefits. So while both of us are sounding, I think, kind of lukewarm on this card, we do recognize that those elite status benefits and milestone perks can be super valuable. So they may be worth spending towards. We've done a separate Frequent Miler on the Air show where we discussed that idea. So you can check that out also in our full-length Frequent Miler on the Air episodes.
Yep. Very good.
All right. I think that wraps us up for this week's Card Talk. Come back and check us out again. And don't forget to check out Frequent Miler on the Air every Friday.
Bye, everybody.
If you want more information about this card, don't forget you can find a direct link to our site in the show notes. Just expand the description box to find a link to our site. That's frequentmiler.com. You can join our email list at frequentmiler.com/subscribe, and we'll see you next time.